Did you know that your body contains approximately 100 trillion cells, but only about 10% of them are actually human? The other 90% are microorganisms that live within you, forming what scientists now call your microbiome. This astonishing discovery reveals that you are literally a walking ecosystem, a universe of life forms working together in a delicate balance. When this balance is disrupted, disease follows. Ancient healers understood this principle of harmony thousands of years before modern science confirmed it. They recognized that true healing isn't just about treating symptoms, but about restoring balance to the entire living system, body, mind, and spirit. Welcome, truth seekers, to Thresholds of Thoughts. Today we embark on a profound journey into the hidden world of healing, a world where science and spirituality converge, where the visible and invisible forces that govern health and disease are revealed. In Esoteric Healing, The Hidden Secrets of Healing, Max Heindel unveils knowledge that has guided healers and spiritual seekers for centuries. This is not just information, it is transformation. The teachings you're about to discover have been guarded for millennia in mystery schools and esoteric traditions, shared only with those deemed ready to receive them. Through these ancient principles, you'll learn that true healing extends far beyond the physical body. It involves the restoration of harmony between body, soul, and spirit, a process of energetic balance and spiritual awakening. Open your mind and heart, for the secrets you are about to hear may forever change how you understand health, disease, and the remarkable self-healing capabilities hidden within you. Let us begin this journey into the sacred art of esoteric healing. Since the dawn of human existence, we have sought to understand the origins of suffering and the mysteries of healing. Is pain merely a physical phenomenon? Can spiritual methods truly alleviate suffering? What role do karma and the evolution of the soul play in our physical health? To understand disease from an esoteric perspective, we must first transcend the mechanistic paradigm of conventional medicine. The traditional medical model views the body as a biological machine whose disorders must be corrected through chemical agents or surgical interventions. While this approach has its value, it remains incomplete because it ignores the spiritual dimension of health and disease. Esoteric traditions teach that human beings are multidimensional entities composed of various levels of existence. The physical body, the etheric or vital body, the astral or desire body, the mental body, the spirit. From this perspective, disease is not a random occurrence, but the physical manifestation of an imbalance that originates on more subtle levels. When we experience illness, we are actually witnessing the final stage of a process that began in our higher, invisible bodies before manifesting in physical symptoms. Even Christ, in both canonical and apocryphal Gospels, emphasized that healing is not solely a physiological act, but a restoration of harmony between soul and body. Your faith has healed you. Go in peace. Luke 8:48 suggests that the patient's consciousness plays a central role in the healing process. In the Gnostic tradition, disease is understood as the result of energetic imbalance and errors in perception that prevent alignment with the divine source. Similarly, Hermetic texts teach the principle, as above, so below, meaning that any ailment manifesting in the physical plane has its correspondence in the astral and mental planes. Esoteric medicine, therefore, does not merely seek to eliminate symptoms, but to restore harmony to the entire system. It recognizes that every disease has four distinct aspects: a physical component, the visible symptoms; an etheric component involving life force energy; an emotional component related to our feelings and desires; a mental, spiritual component connected to our thoughts and spiritual alignment. True healing must address all these levels. When we only treat the physical symptoms while ignoring the underlying energetic, emotional, and spiritual imbalances, we may experience temporary relief, but the root cause remains unaddressed, and the disease will eventually return, perhaps in a different form. The Rosicrucian teachings explain that disease often begins as a thought form in the mental body, then descends into the emotional body where it gathers emotional energy, before finally crystallizing in the etheric body and manifesting as physical symptoms. This understanding reveals why purely physical treatments often fail to produce lasting results. They address only the final stage of a much deeper process. One of the most fascinating aspects of Max Heindel's work is his exploration of the healing methods employed by the Rosicrucian Brotherhood, one of the most influential esoteric orders in history. Unlike many secret societies that guard their knowledge jealously, the Rosicrucians have always maintained a mission of healing and service to humanity. The Rosicrucians understand that disease can be treated through vibrational transmutation using the power of thought, breath, and natural elements in harmony with cosmic energies. Their approach to healing is comprehensive, addressing all aspects of the human being: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Among the most important healing practices of the Rosicrucian Brotherhood are meditation on divine light. By visualizing divine light flowing through the body, healers can restore energetic balance and stimulate the body's self-healing mechanisms. This light is understood not as a metaphor, but as a real force that can transform dense, diseased energy into a higher vibrational state. Medical astrology. Rosicrucians recognize that cosmic influences affect our health. Each organ of the body is governed by a particular planet, and energetic imbalances can be corrected by aligning with the appropriate cosmic influences. This is not mere superstition, but a precise system of diagnosis and treatment that has been rediscovered today through quantum medicine and bioenergetics. Herbal medicine. Plants contain not only physical healing properties, but also etheric forces that can restore harmony to the vital body. The Rosicrucians were master herbalists who understood the spiritual signatures of plants and how to prepare them to retain their vital essence. Color and sound healing. Colors and sounds are not just sensory experiences, but vibrational forces that can unblock the body's energy centers. The Rosicrucians developed sophisticated methods of applying specific colors and sound frequencies to treat various conditions. The healing method of the Rosicrucian Brotherhood is distinguished by three fundamental principles. First, all healing power ultimately comes from the divine source, what Christians would call our Father in heaven. The healer serves merely as a channel or focus for this universal healing power. Second, the healer must be a suitable instrument, consecrated, harmonious, and attuned to the infinite. The purity of the healer's life and the selflessness of their motivation are crucial to the effectiveness of the healing work. Third, the patient must present a receptive and obedient mind. Unlike conventional medicine, where the patient remains passive, spiritual healing requires active cooperation from the one to be healed. This principle is evident in the healing miracles of Christ, where he always asks the patient to do something. Stretch out your hand, take up your bed, and walk. Go wash in the pool of Siloam. These three factors, divine power, a suitable healer, and a receptive patient, form the triangle of true healing. When all three are present, seemingly miraculous results can occur. Nutrition, from an esoteric perspective, influences not only the physical body, but directly affects our state of consciousness. The ancient mystery schools taught that the vibration of food affects the energetic structure of the human being, determining our ability to access higher states of perception. Esoteric nutrition is based on the understanding that not everything nourishing for the body is beneficial for the soul. As an apocryphal text attributed to Christ reveals, the angels of the air, the water, and the sun cleanse your body. But if you are not in harmony with your spirit, disease will return to you. This teaching suggests that nutrition should address not just the material aspect, but should include mental, emotional, and spiritual purity as well. From the Rosicrucian perspective, foods are classified not merely by their physical nutrients, but by their vibrational qualities and their effects on the subtle bodies. Pure foods, fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, seeds. These foods contain high levels of ether and vital force. They raise the vibration of the body and facilitate spiritual development. They create minimal waste and require little energy to digest, leaving more energy available for higher functions. Stimulating foods. Spices, certain herbs. These can temporarily raise consciousness, but may unbalance the system if overused. They are useful as medicines, but should be used sparingly in daily diet. Heavy foods, including meat. These lower vibrational foods require more energy to digest and create more waste products. They tend to densify the subtle bodies and can make spiritual perception more difficult. The Rosicrucian teachings on diet emphasize several key principles. The phosphorus principle. Phosphorus is the particular element through which the ego can express thought and influence the dense physical body. Its proportion and variation correspond to an individual's state of intelligence. Therefore, foods rich in phosphorus are important for mental and spiritual work. These include leafy greens, pineapples, grapes, and whole grains. Purification through diet. Certain foods have remarkable cleansing properties. Citrus fruits are powerful antiseptics, while cereals, especially rice, are effective antitoxins. By understanding the medicinal properties of different foods, we can heal ordinary ailments through proper nutrition rather than through medication. The sugar-alcohol connection. As humanity evolves, alcohol, which ferments outside the system, is gradually being replaced by sugar, which ferments inside, corresponding to a higher stage of consciousness. The increase in sugar consumption correlates with a decrease in alcohol consumption and a general rise in moral consciousness. The vital body and digestion. The vital body is responsible for assimilation and digestion. When it is strong and balanced, the body can extract more nutrients from less food. This is why the spiritual state of mind during meals is as important as the food itself. Eating in a state of stress, anger, or fear impairs digestion regardless of the quality of food. The principle of balance. No single dietary approach works for everyone. Each person must find the balance appropriate to their constitution, life circumstances, and spiritual path. However, a general principle is that as one progresses spiritually, the diet naturally becomes lighter and more refined. Max Heindel particularly addresses the vegetarian question. While advocating the benefits of a plant-based diet, he cautions against abrupt changes. The transition should be gradual, allowing the body to adapt, and attention must be paid to obtaining adequate proteins from plant sources like beans, nuts, and whole grains. From an ethical perspective, he points out that we have a debt to pay to the lower creatures whom we should be mentoring, but instead are murdering. He foresees a time when humanity will look back on meat consumption as we now view cannibalism, as a primitive practice outgrown through moral evolution. Fasting has been employed as a healing method in virtually every spiritual tradition. From an esoteric perspective, fasting works on multiple levels. Physical purification. Fasting gives the digestive system a rest and allows the body to focus on elimination of toxins and repair of tissues. Etheric cleansing. During a fast, the vital forces normally used for digestion become available for cleansing and repairing the etheric body. Emotional balancing. Fasting can help break addictive patterns and emotional attachments to food, revealing the psychological aspects of our eating habits. Spiritual attunement. When the physical body is less dominant, the higher vehicles can function more freely, often resulting in increased intuition and spiritual awareness. However, Max Heindel cautions against excessive fasting. He points out that there are more people in the West who die from overeating than from eating too little. But he also warns of the danger of extreme fasting. He advocates moderation as the wisest approach. The best approach is to eat in moderation and with the appropriate foods. In this way, fasting will not be necessary at all. He particularly warns against fasting for soul growth as a misguided practice. The mystery schools taught that the body is the temple of God, and that profaning, destroying, or mutilating it in any way is a grave sin. While overindulgence is harmful, extreme fasting can be equally detrimental. Right living is neither fasting nor overindulgence, but giving the body the necessary elements to maintain it in the proper condition of health, strength, and efficiency as an instrument of the spirit. The true purpose of occasional fasting should be to restore balance and health, not to achieve spiritual powers through bodily deprivation. Spiritual development comes through service, selflessness, and the cultivation of the higher faculties, not through physical austerities. One of the most fascinating aspects of Rosicrucian healing is the concept of invisible helpers, individuals who, during sleep, leave their physical bodies and work on the etheric plane to heal others under the guidance of advanced beings called the Elder Brothers, to achieve spiritual powers through bodily deprivation. Spiritual development comes through service, selflessness, and the cultivation of the higher faculties, not through physical austerities. One of the most fascinating aspects of Rosicrucian healing is the concept of invisible helpers, individuals who, during sleep, leave their physical bodies and work on the etheric plane to heal others under the guidance of advanced beings called the Elder Brothers. Max Heindel explains that these invisible helpers are actually probationers, spiritual aspirants who during their daytime lives live worthy of service and thereby earn the privilege of being useful through the guidance of the Elder Brothers during the night. The system for training and organizing these helpers is carried out through the use of the effluvia from their vital bodies. Each group of healers usually consists of 12 probationers plus their instructor, generally taken from the same locality because nighttime is synchronized for them all. When someone writes to the Rosicrucian Fellowship requesting healing, their letter written in pen and ink becomes impregnated with a part of their vital body. This etheric substance is extracted by the Elder Brothers and serves as a precise indicator of the individual's condition. It also acts as a key that allows the invisible helpers to access the patient's body. Many patients report seeing and feeling these helpers working both inside and outside their bodies during sleep. As the patient's condition changes, they are asked to write a few words each week in pen and ink to ensure that the Elder Brothers remain in current contact with their condition. This work never ceases because the sun is always absent from one part of the globe, and the probationers in that region are actively engaged in healing during their hours of bodily rest. This method of healing represents a fascinating bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds. It acknowledges that healing forces operate on multiple planes of existence simultaneously, and that trained individuals can consciously direct these forces for the benefit of others. It's important to note that this approach doesn't reject conventional medicine. In fact, Heindel states, "Our method of healing is not entirely a spiritual matter. We use physical means whenever possible. There are even times when we send our patients to a doctor." Endura, this integrated approach to healing, combining physical, etheric, emotional, and spiritual methods, represents the holistic model that is increasingly being recognized even by conventional medicine today. In the deeper aspects of Rosicrucian teaching, there exists the concept of a spiritual panacea, a substance that can facilitate profound healing when all other methods fail. Heindel describes a memorable experience in the Rosicrucian temple where he witnessed this substance being prepared. 3 spheres were suspended, one above the other, in the center of the temple. Inside the large central sphere was a smaller one containing several packets filled with this substance. When the brothers positioned themselves in certain locations and the harmony of certain music had prepared the way, suddenly the 3 globes began to shine with the 3 primary colors: blue, yellow, and red. During the chanting of a sacred formula, the container holding these packets became infused with a spiritual essence. This substance was later used with immediate success, dissolving the crystallized particles that encase the patient's spiritual centers. This description points to a profound truth about the deepest nature of healing. At the highest level, healing involves the dissolution of crystallized thought forms and emotional patterns that have become encoded in the subtle and physical bodies. The spiritual panacea represents the pure Christ principle, the divine healing force that operates through love and wisdom rather than through mechanical means. It is not merely a physical substance, but a vehicle for spiritual forces that can transform consciousness itself. This understanding of the Christ principle in healing reveals why faith has always played such a significant role in miraculous healings. Faith opens the channels through which the divine healing forces can flow unimpeded. When Christ said, "Your faith has made you whole," he was acknowledging this spiritual law. So, the spiritual panacea works because during prolonged illness, the ego becomes so focused on suffering that it stops vitalizing the cells entirely. In such cases, an external spiritual impulse is needed to dispel the mental fog and reactivate cellular activities. Just as the Christ life on Golgotha began to dispel the shell of fear created by the inexorable law, so too the panacea infuses every cell with a rhythm that awakens the imprisoned ego from its lethargy. This teaching offers hope even in seemingly hopeless cases. It suggests that no one is beyond healing because the divine spark within each person can be reawakened, regardless of how deeply it has been buried under layers of suffering and disease. Another pillar of esoteric healing is medical astrology. the science that recognizes the correspondence between celestial bodies and the organs and functions of the human body. Far from being mere superstition, medical astrology is a precise method of diagnosis and treatment based on the Hermetic principle, as above, so below. Each organ of the body is governed by a specific planet. The sun rules the heart and the vital forces. The moon governs the brain, sympathetic nervous system, and reproductive system. Mercury rules the cerebrospinal nervous system and the thyroid gland. Venus governs the kidneys and the venous circulation. Mars rules the muscles, the red blood cells, and the generative organs. Jupiter governs the liver and arterial circulation. Saturn rules the skeleton, teeth, and the spleen. Understanding these correspondences allows the esoteric healer to diagnose imbalances in the system by analyzing the planetary positions at birth and during illness. For instance, afflictions to Saturn in a birth chart might indicate potential issues with the skeletal system or chronic diseases, while problems with Mars might manifest as inflammatory conditions or fevers. But medical astrology goes beyond diagnosis. It also provides timing for treatments. Certain healing procedures are more effective when performed under favorable planetary aspects. Herbs harvested when their ruling planet is strong have greater potency. Surgical operations have better outcomes when performed with the moon in appropriate signs. The value of this approach is that it recognizes the human being as a microcosm of the macrocosm, a miniature universe reflecting the larger cosmic patterns. Our bodies are not isolated from the cosmic environment, but are constantly influenced by and resonating with celestial rhythms. Moreover, medical astrology provides insight into the karmic patterns that may be expressing as disease. When we understand the soul lessons associated with a particular illness, we can address not just the physical symptoms, but the deeper spiritual purpose behind the condition. This doesn't mean that our health is predetermined by the stars. Rather, the stars indicate tendencies and potentials that we have the free will to work with consciously. By understanding these influences, we can take proactive measures to maintain balance and prevent disease before it manifests physically. As we conclude our exploration of esoteric healing, let's consider how these ancient principles can be applied in our modern lives and what they suggest about the future of medicine. Aaron, the first practical application is the integration of physical and spiritual approaches to health. Rather than seeing conventional medicine and spiritual healing as opposed to each other, we can recognize them as complementary. Physical treatments address the material manifestation of disease, while spiritual methods work with the underlying causes in the subtle bodies. Second, we can apply the principle of prevention through conscious living. By understanding that disease begins in the subtle bodies before manifesting physically, we can detect and correct imbalances before they become serious physical conditions. Regular meditation, energy work, and attention to our thoughts and emotions become preventive medicine of the highest order. Third, we can embrace the therapeutic power of nature. Sunlight, fresh air, clean water, proper diet, and exercise are not just physical health measures, but ways to harmonize our entire being with the rhythms of nature. The Rosicrucian teachings emphasize that alignment with natural law is fundamental to health. Fourth, we can cultivate healing consciousness. The attitude of the healer, whether professional or self-healer, is crucial to the outcome. Approaching healing with love, compassion, and reverence creates a conducive environment for the healing forces to operate. Looking to the future, Max Heindel foresaw a time when humanity would develop a more enlightened approach to health and healing. He anticipated the eventual transcendence of our current crude methods of treatment and the development of subtler, more effective healing modalities. We are already seeing signs of this evolution in the growing interest in integrative medicine, energy healing, and consciousness-based approaches to health. The recognition of the mind-body connection, the importance of the microbiome, and the role of electromagnetic fields in health all point toward a more holistic understanding that aligns with ancient esoteric principles. Ultimately, Heindel suggests that as humanity evolves spiritually, our bodies will become more refined and less susceptible to disease. The development of the vital body and the purification of the desire body will lead to healthier physical vehicles. And as we learn to live in greater harmony with cosmic law, much of what we now call disease will simply cease to exist. In the meantime, Each of us can become a pioneer of this new approach to healing by applying these timeless principles in our own lives and sharing this wisdom with others who are ready to receive it. As we complete our journey through the hidden secrets of esoteric healing, remember that the knowledge shared here is not merely theoretical. It is meant to be lived and applied. True understanding comes not from intellectual comprehension alone, but from the integration of these principles into daily life. The essence of Max Heindel's teaching on healing can be distilled into a few fundamental truths. We are multidimensional beings with physical, etheric, emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects, all of which must be addressed in true healing. And disease originates in the subtle bodies before manifesting physically, making prevention through spiritual awareness the highest form of medicine. The healing power ultimately comes from the divine source, with the healer serving as a channel and the patient as an active participant in the process. How we live, what we eat, think, feel, and do, creates either harmony or discord in our entire system, determining our state of health or disease. True healing is not merely the absence of symptoms, but the restoration of wholeness and the alignment of the individual with their higher purpose. In sharing these teachings, Max Heindel was fulfilling the Rosicrucian mission of service to humanity. These principles of healing were never meant to be kept secret for their own sake, but were guarded only until humanity was ready to receive and use them wisely. Today, as we stand at the threshold of a new understanding of health and disease, these ancient teachings take on renewed significance. They offer a bridge between the materialistic approach of conventional medicine and the spiritual wisdom of the ages, a synthesis that honors both the remarkable achievements of modern science and the profound insights of esoteric tradition. May you apply this wisdom in your own life and become, in your own way, a channel for the healing forces that seek expression through all who open themselves to serve. For in the end, the greatest healing comes through love, the universal solvent that dissolves all discord and restores the divine harmony that is our natural state. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. If you found value in these teachings, please support the Thresholds of Thoughts channel by subscribing and sharing this video with others who may benefit from this timeless wisdom. Until next time, may your path be illuminated by the light of understanding, and may you walk in health of body, mind, and spirit.